Stugotz here, guys. You've heard me talk about Indochino and how made-to-measure suits feel better compared to generic off-the-rack suits. They do. So if you haven't checked them out yet, now is the time, especially when they are available at such great prices. Guys, I love Indochino. I am getting great suits, customized suits, at reduced prices. You're going to love it as well. Indochino is North America's leading made-to-measure menswear company. They make suits and shirts to your exact measurements for unmatched fit and comfort. It's easy to get started. Visit a stylist at their showroom and have them take your measurements personally, or measure at home yourself and shop online at Indochino.com. Guys love the option to personalize the details, including your lapel, lining, pockets, buttons, and writing your own monogram. So, get your perfect suit and just watch as the compliments roll in. And November is Black Friday season, meaning 2018's lowest prices up to 70% off on everything. Make an entrance at your holiday parties with Indochino. This week, our listeners can take advantage of Black Friday pricing by using code Batard at checkout. That's 70% off the regular price for a made-to-measure suit. Plus, shipping is free. That's Indochino.com, promo code Batard for up to 70% off. It's an incredible deal for a made-to-measure suit. Once you go custom, you don't go rack.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to Geico.com today and see how much you could save.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Is everyone ready for Super Bowl Monday? This is the biggest game ESPN has ever televised in football, right? Because when we get the playoffs, we get like Brian Hoyer's led Texans in the playoffs. When ESPN, is this going to be the highest rated NFL game that ESPN has ever shown tonight? Rams, Chiefs.
There was a really huge Monday nighter between the Patriots when they were on their undefeated season against the Ravens and that defense. Did you see what the NFL did for this game? They made it an all-star referee crew, something that's only designated really for playoff games.
There are a number of things that I like about this, not the least of which is, Stugotz, what you're going to be watching tonight because of the age of those players is the future.
Yes.
That's the future of the league as Roethlisberger and Breeze and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers continue to age, the old guard. The future looks like tonight. Different offenses. They look different. Creative offenses that are different than just about everything else that you're watching. And when you look at Andy Reid's evolution, because this part, I know that you've been critical of Andy Reid, Stugotz, and a lot of people think he hasn't won anything meaningful. But look at that evolution compared to what's going on in Jacksonville. I'd be so mad right now if I was a Jacksonville fan and we had extended that quarterback so that another season would go by where we spend entire games afraid of our own shadow playing that coward ball that Tom Coughlin is playing. The way that Jacksonville lost yesterday, I'm not sure I've ever seen a team lose quite that way. They're winning 16-0, Stugotz. And what ends up happening at 16-0 from the Jags is they shrivel up. And look at what happens. 2 minutes left in the third quarter to the end of the game. Are you ready? This is everything Jacksonville did from 2 minutes left in the third quarter to 16-0. Fournette up the middle, incomplete, punt. Fournette up the middle, sack, punt. Fournette up the middle, incompletion, punt. Fournette up the middle, punt. Sack, fumble, end game.
Why'd they throw?
Just trying to get to the end of the game there, Dan.
I know. It's just coward ball. They're just terrified of their quarterback, and they continue to try and hide their quarterback. The way that they lost that football game, if I'm a defensive player in Jacksonville, I'm mad at not just my offense. I'm mad at my management. I'm mad at the people who decided we're going to play coward ball all season with a good defense.
And you're pointing to Kansas City, who, they had a quarterback in Alex Smith that was okay. He was good enough, and they had Patrick Mahomes behind him, and Andy Reid had he had the guts to get rid of Alex Smith and go with Patrick Mahomes.
Not only that, and I know many of you are looking at the Mahomes numbers, and the Mahomes numbers are just insane. But this is what I would tell you about the New Orleans Saints, Stugotz. And you know that I've got a man crush on Aaron Rodgers. You know that he's the best quarterback I've ever seen. But I can say, based on what I am presently witnessing, that no one has ever played the position better than Drew Brees right now is playing it. No one has ever done it, Stugotz. Let me read to you some of these numbers, these advanced numbers, so that you understand the accuracy of what it is that we're talking about here.
All right.
Because at a time when the quarterbacks are more precise than they have ever been, and they are more precise than they've ever been, it's ridiculous. Guys aren't open all the time, are being thrown to. I see a stat they keep I see a highlight they keep showing on Tyreek Hill, Stugotz, against the Cardinals. He catches a touchdown pass. There are 4 Cardinals around him. It didn't matter. Mahomes, that's where Mahomes was throwing it, and that's where he threw it. But this is according to NFL Next Gen Stats.
Oh, boy.
Well, you'll like this. I think you'll like this, even though you don't like the advanced
stats scare me, man. They really do.
Okay, well, here is the stat, and I think it's worthy of stat of the day. So let's do this so that people understand that we need some proof to back up what I contend is that no one has ever played the position better than Drew Brees is playing it right now.
Start of the day, start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
So Next Gen Stats keeps track of something called tight window throws, okay? No NFL quarterback this season has completed more than 6 of those in a game until yesterday, when Drew Brees completed 9 of those for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. In tight windows, in tight windows, he was 9 of 12 for 121 yards and the 2 touchdowns as they roll the defending champions 48-7. And Mike is right when he says, I think, that we're going to look back on Philadelphia as one of the strangest champions we've ever seen.
So odd.
Because they won. They were so overwhelming. They were so much better than everyone else that they made Nick Foles the Super Bowl MVP and dragged the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And then the next season, they can't do anything right. And what the Saints did to them yesterday was alarming. And who the hell's going to go into that place other than Ryan Fitzmagic? Fitzmagic. Yeah. Other than Fitzmagic, who's going to go into that place and stop Drew Brees on a drive? Stop on one drive. What a drive! What Guillermo, put it on the poll. There's a drive starting right now somewhere in the world. Is anyone stopping Drew Brees? And it has
to be at home in that dome, right?
Is any combination of things stopping Drew Brees from going 90 yards? The answer is no. It's not natural causes. It's not natural disasters. It's nothing. It's not the pharmacy. It's not guys on steroids. He's throwing into these tight windows, Stugotz. And I know you guys are tired of hearing me say, check out that YouTube video of him years ago on Sports Science throwing a ball more accurately than an Olympic archer was, launching arrows 20 yards away.
Right. He's also taking guys I've never heard of and making them relevant. Like, I haven't heard of any of his receivers other than Michael Thomas. None of them. He's throwing the guys like Kirkwood and Josh Hill and Dan Arnold.
Those running backs help a great deal. That offensive line helps a great deal. And that defense has been playing well. But if I could tell all of you right now, think about, I think that if I ask you, we're just throwing all the teams in football in a pool. I think you guys are going Patriots 4th. And if you're not going Patriots 4th among the top 4 teams, I think you might be going Chiefs 4th. That what the Saints and the Rams are doing, because they also play defense better than Kansas City does, that the Chiefs look totally overwhelming offensively, like a college offense. The Chiefs look like a college offense, like one of those Mahomes offenses at Texas Tech. And what are they, the 4th best team in the league?
Maybe. I don't think anyone would put the Patriots 4th, though. I mean, we're going to fall for that again. I mean, Patriots are the best team in the NFL, period. And they will be as long as Tom Brady is there.
Really?
Yes.
So really?
Yep. You're going to fall for it again?
I mean,
they lost to Mike Vrabel.
The good thing is that Titans up yesterday, by the way.
Still in the mix. I mean,
the good thing for the Patriots is that they only have to go through Kansas City, and it's all they have to go through. Many of you are going to say, what about Pittsburgh? No, they're Pittsburgh's daddy. They're Pittsburgh's daddy. Don't bring Pittsburgh in here.
Chargers lost to football yesterday, but I think the Chargers are a tough test too.
The Chargers could, but the fact that the Chargers don't have a home field advantage and therefore are going to have to end up probably going through New England.
I mean, they're as prepared as any team in the history of the NFL to go win a game on the road. They only play road games.
Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Let's talk about buying a home for a minute. Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. It's causing a lot of anxiety and stress for a lot of people. Well, our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about that. They're calling it the power buying process. Here's how it works. Quicken Loans will verify your income, your assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. That gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Then once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. This is very cool here. First, they'll lock your rate up for 90 days while you shop. Now, here's the best part. If rates go up, your rates stay the same. But if rates go down, your rate also drops. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, simple. Go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. Rate Shield approval. Only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
I love what the Rams are doing. The Rams have a head football coach who is younger than the child star Raven.
Stugotz.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Guillermo? Why are you making the face?
What are you doing? You've been using that child star Raven line. First off, her name is Raven Simone, and she's getting to the point that you should stop using that.
But this is my point, that the coach of the Rams is a child star. Why are you guys making faces? Give me a better reference than that.
Drew Barrymore?
Give me no, come on, man. Drew Barrymore's damn near my age.
No.
It's like, really?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
You've heard me before lament that this hyper-examination with technology of was this guy's shin down, was it toe out, gets in the way of the greatness you're witnessing. I know the announcers were obsessed yesterday. Jalen Ramsey made an unbelievable interception on Antonio Brown, and all they talked about was, did the ball move a little bit? Did it touch the ground? And this happens all the time in sports in a way that I find maddening. I was watching the Washington State game, and God, I wish Mike Leach had some players, like some athletes, top 5 recruits, because that team is so much fun to watch. But there's a play at the goal line, okay? Running back is going in and gets met at the goal line by the linebacker who, this is right at the goal line, who reaches in and strips the ball before it gets over the goal line. And they weren't talking about the play. All they were talking about is goal line or not goal line, goal line or not goal line. And we go through this hyper-examination of these things in a way that, to me, has been not fun. But here is some fun that has nothing to do with this. Did you see what Tom Herman's wife did this weekend?
No.
Okay. Now, we told you last week, we opened the show in a fairly stunning fashion with this Tom Herman story. He's the Texas coach, and you got on Twitter the former Ohio State assistant, Zach Smith, I think his name is, just melting down on Twitter and putting on Twitter a screenshot that he purported was with Tom Herman, in which he accuses him of infidelities with a masseuse and a recruiting girl. And the only response you see there from Tom Herman is, okay, cool, hook 'em. Like after a lot of accusations about infidelity in his marriage. And so as he's running off the field on Saturday with his wife, what T-shirt is she wearing? And a burnt orange Texas shirt that reads, okay, cool, hook 'em.
I love that.
I mean, she is by her man's side, come what may. I'm not going to phrase that another way. So, Washington State, Stugotz, I don't know if they can have any chance.
They don't.
Of getting into this top 4 because they're 8 and they've got 1 loss, and they lost to USC, and USC is terrible. Because Washington State, or all Mike Leach's teams, are good for that 1 loss, right?
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Like inevitably always. But I enjoyed watching their quarterback so much. They were up. Kevin Sumlin could not have looked worse. Okay, Kevin Sumlin is working at Arizona now.
He is?
I want to give Washington State some love here because they really are fun to watch. They've got the number one passing offense in college football. And right before the half, they made the mistake of giving Mike Leach the ball back with 30 seconds left. And it was bang, bang, 2 plays. We're up 55-14 at the half.
You don't do that, man.
It's just 2 plays.
Big mistake.
They left him 2 plays. But this Minshew has a terrible mustache. The quarterback for Washington State has a terrible mustache, but he spent the whole game dancing, bobbing up and down to music. And it made me sad for Kevin Sumlin. I'm like, oh, you rode the Johnny Man. That's how the Johnny Manziel gravy train ends, huh? In Arizona, losing at the half 55-14 to Mike Leach.
A guy with a terrible mustache throwing 7 touchdowns against you.
That's how it ends. That is it. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Did you know that the end of the Johnny Manziel gravy train was 55-14 at the half against Washington State and a kid with a terrible mustache?
It's really shocking because a lot of people thought Sumlin might go to the NFL. I mean, it's an amazing ending, an unpredictable one.
Mike Leach has got a really fascinating coaching tree. First off, you see the record books in college football, and all the quarterbacks that he's had there for any sort of extended period of time are littering the top.
Oh, is a Grant Harrell somewhere in there?
Graham Harrell, Sonny Cumbie, B.J. Simons, Cliff Kingsbury. But coaches that have worked with him, Cliff Kingsbury, Josh Heupel, Lincoln Riley, Art Briles, Dana Holgorsen, he's rewritten what college football offense is, Mike Leach. He's actually a football genius.
All guys who are good for 1 loss a season.
Well, not Heupel. Not yet.
Okay, it's coming.
Yeah, but yes, that's right. Isn't Oklahoma always good for that?
Well, no, Heupel is the coach at UCF.
Okay, that's 2 fines. 2 fines for me. I'm an idiot. I want to ask you about Condoleezza Rice. How many years behind am I on Heupel? 1 year?
Well, yeah, Scott Frost went to Nebraska.
All right, so I'm 1 year behind on Heupel.
And
I still
Heupel
had him at Oklahoma.
And
he's doing the same thing as Frost did with UCF.
He is, isn't he? So
weren't you the biggest champion of UCF football last year?
Yeah, but I stopped paying attention once they snubbed us. They might be better than they were last year, but last year I was paying more attention.
Proud of you.
I want to get into this story involving the Cleveland Browns and the idea that Adam Schefter was reporting yesterday that Condoleezza Rice was someone that they wanted to talk to about their head coaching job. And now she has sent out a statement. I love my Browns, and I know they will hire an experienced coach to take us to the next level. On a more serious note, I do hope that the NFL will start to bring women into the coaching profession as position coaches and eventually coordinators and head coaches. One doesn't have to play the game to understand and motivate players, but experience counts, and it's time to develop a pool of experienced women coaches. By the way, I'm not ready to coach, but I would like to call a player or 2 next season if the Browns need ideas, and at no time will I ever call for a prevent defense. She's throwing that in at the end there.
Cool statement.
I did not think that was as absurd as everyone else thought it was. I really do. I would like to see a football team. And no, she's not qualified for that job. She doesn't have the credentials for that job the way it's presently done.
When I saw the news, when I saw the report, I was thinking about what Dominique Foxworth has told us, where you hire a CEO basically as head coach and just surround that person with an offensive genius, a defensive genius, a special teams person.
That's right.
Yeah.
You could do that. That's why I would make the arguments for her the same way that I would make them. Deion Sanders said, look, I'm not going to be an assistant coach somewhere. If someone wants to hire me as a head coach, I'm interested in coaching. I'm not going to go, 14 hours in the film room. But Condoleezza Rice, I actually didn't think that was absurd. If they were going to do it the way that we're talking about, which is, look, figurehead, face, voice for a team, in charge of football operations, but the coordinators are going to be doing the stuff on game day.
She actually does know a lot about football. I've never spoken to her, but I do know people that have written. I think Mike Freeman was one of them that have been blown away by her football knowledge.
Yeah, but she is not qualified in any way, whether she's knowledgeable or not. She's not qualified in any way to scheme up a game plan for that week.
She's as qualified as me or you, Mike. I mean, let's be honest.
I was watching a clip of Mike Francesa, who, let the record show, once said that he should be managing a baseball team.
Well, wait a minute. Baseball, anybody with a computer could do it in baseball.
Yeah, but he was really offended. I think he said this story is offensive, and a lot of people reacted that way. He said, do you think Condoleezza Rice could draw up a Greg Williams design blitz? A Greg Williams blitz. As if the concept of blitzing is so foreign to anyone.
A game plan would be a little more complicated. The preparing of a game plan when you've never prepared a game plan. But again, if you're going to redefine the job and make her somebody, make it a position that's about really leadership / marketing, both of them, because the coach is the face and voice of a team. So I don't mean that marketing, I'm not using it as a disparaging term. It's face and voice for a team. Who's going to give you more credibility than this woman? It's better than Greg Williams. It's better than Hugh Jackson.
Infinitely better. In terms of leadership,
yeah. Well, you'd be leading in terms of doing things differently, but you'd have to get a great assistant coaching staff and then let her oversee everything.
I was most fascinated in the journalism aspect of this story because the Schefter report comes out and then a denial but a sort of flattering denial by John Dorsey, and then Condoleezza makes a statement. Kind of felt like old Jimmy was going a little rogue here, didn't it?
old formerly indicted Jimmy Haslam.
Do you think they're going to allow her to call a couple of plays, though, if she's not the HC? I mean, that seems ridiculous. Condoleezza Rice is going to parlay her name and her power into calling a couple of plays for the Browns?
Really? You're going to do that, Stugotz? Really? Really?
Jealous.
Don Le Batard.
The praise is pouring in via Twitter at Le Batard Show. Your interviews would be better if you knew how to ask a question. Hashtag SadMaker.
Stugotz.
That's right. I'm a maker of sad.
I like that.
Hashtag SadMaker.
You make sad.
I make people sad and then become happy about their sadness. I am hashtag SadMaker.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
On one side, there are the people using numbers, data, facts, information in an open-minded way. On the other side is Mike Wilbon. And Mike Wilbon has seen baseball through his eyes, his way, for a long time. And so he says, when arguing with Frank Isola about DeGrom, that winning is what matters. And Jason Whitlock has now changed the athlete, but not the argument. Wait till I read you what Jason Whitlock has to say, which is basically this in another form.
Win the game, Frank. Win the game. I don't care what the ERA is. When you add them up at the end, the Cubs probably had some Cy Young Award-winning ERA champions in that 100-plus year period. And if somebody said, I'll trade that for the wins that get me a World Series, what would you do? If the answer is anything other than I'll take the wins, then it's fraudulent. Then I resign from following sports. Win the damn game.
Mike, he doesn't get any run support. It's at 3.6 runs per game.
Okay, you got to hang tough then.
Hang tough. Only seven startors in baseball.
Don't allow it.
Less than he did. His ERA is 1.8.
I don't care about his ERA.
195 strikeouts and 194 innings.
Frank, we live in this is a tyranny of statistics now. There's some nights where you got to do a better job, where you got to give up nothing or one because your guys aren't hitting. There's some other nights where you get a break and you can win a 6-5 game where you didn't particularly pitch that well. Ask guys like Bob Gibson and Ferguson Jenkins who used to pitch complete games about that, and they didn't whine about not getting run support. Win the game.
Happy 60th birthday to Michael Wilbon.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Surprised he's not 80.
So here's Jason Whitlock. He changes the athlete, but not the argument. They're going to put Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame one day, and he won't deserve it. He's never won anything. Who's got more control over the results of a game, a quarterback or a pitcher? Starting pitcher or a quarterback? Who's got more control over the result of what happens in a game?
I feel like a pitcher does.
I don't know what the answer to that is, but the coming after Phillip Rivers for not winning is not taking any inventory of how great he actually is. But I understand how yesterday will be another one of those days where you say, see, can't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that as well. But by Jason Whitlock's math, what he's saying, Dan Marino doesn't belong in the Hall.
All those guys, Charles Barkley, all the famous non-winners. Charles Barkley, everywhere he goes, it's what everyone hits him with when they don't like Charles Barkley. You never won anything. But at least in basketball, I understand it. So much goes into winning in football. Like Aaron Rodgers has won one time. He's the best that I've ever seen. And Drew Brees has won one time. He's playing the position better than I've ever seen anyone play it.
Mm-hmm. A pitcher doesn't.
That means, think about how many times they haven't won.
Right. Yeah.
That's every other time they've ended a season, they have not won the final game, won the final game that football is playing.
That's because Brady's winning them all. That's why.
A pitcher doesn't have an offensive line, and a large part of the quarterback's job depends on his blocking. However, a pitcher does have a say in how many runs are scored. Normally he doesn't, but he does in the National League. So it goes National League pitcher, quarterback, then AL pitcher.
How many people are still doing it this way, though? Because this is the old guard. This is Greg Cody. This is Michael Wilbon. This is Jason Whitlock. They're making arguments that are not mathematically sound. They're making arguments that just take into consideration their entire lifetime following sports, and they don't want to move, even though the math in baseball has moved, and we're able to individually measure things in ways we've never been able to.
How did Stugotz become the face of math in baseball?
By arguing against Wilbon. It's amazing, isn't it? Like how
luck my way into that one, huh?
I don't know how this happened. Mike doesn't even want to play the sound anymore. The Stugotz army is enraged, rabid at Michael Wilbon because Michael Wilbon didn't go for funny or mocking. He went for serious as he took out Stugotz.
They've been, the Stugotz army has been begging me to unleash them, and I have told them to stand pat, to just relax, because I haven't heard this.
Stand down, Stugotz army.
Stand down. Is that fine?
For now.
Just stand down, because I haven't heard the sound yet. I heard it was really bad. I haven't heard the sound yet. I'm not certain I want to hear the sound, but Michael Wilbon just keeps saying my name.
I want to play the sound for you if you will find it funny. I don't know if I want to play the sound for you if you're going to get your feelings hurt and get angry, but it's not. None of us around here found it funny. He was on with Waddle, and they were really pressing him on how he felt about you.
Yeah, I have banned this sound, guys. I can't do it. It's number one, it's a really bad look for Michael Wilbon, really bad. And he was saying mean things to my Stugotz, and I'm going to back up my Stugotz here. I'm banning that sound.
But what if I want to hear it?
You just want to hear him say Stugotz.
Yeah, I'm good with that. As long as you're saying my name, that's what I mean. I'm good with it.
It is, but what's happening here? Is this happening throughout sports still? Like this closed-mindedness that allows the only analysis. Let's think about this for a second, Stugotz. We really don't need analysts at all if the only way you're going to do the analysis is he won, he's great. He didn't win, he's no good. Like we don't need voters or if that's the way you're going to do it. You're not going to measure anything. You're not going to have context or perspective.
Wilbon's just too entrenched in this point. Like, he can't go back now and
he won't just say that he's wrong. You're right.
He's too into it. He's got to just double down.
That is a plague in sports media, man. It's just say you got it wrong or you changed your mind or you're mistaken. You made an error. Why is that not an option?
No, what you do is you take out the least relevant and important person who was going after you. That's what you do. And I got to be honest, I'm proud of Michael Wilbon. The Stugotz is strong in him.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth. Teenagers can communicate entirely in emojis.
How was the birthday party? Pizza slice, kitten, soccer ball, pineapple?
Truth. It's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at Geico.com.
What are you talking about? Paperclip, shoulder shrug, high five, wizard hat? What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
For me, the eyebrows are probably my best features.
All right. I mean, what is that saying?
Well, they're thick and they're nice, and
the eyebrows are your best feature, but I mean,
it's not saying much.
What is leprosy's best feature?
Stugotz.
It's the best I've got, Dad.
All right. Your eyebrows are your best feature? Do you really get complimented on that a lot?
I do often, yes. They're nice, right? Look at them. Come on, they're thick.
They look like ferrets.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I am not making this up. The news came in during the commercial break, that Woj is reporting that the Wizards are open for business and you can have their entire roster. Before all of this information had come through the room, Stugotz stood up and traded the Wizards for the Nets. And we're all just looking around like none of us have absorbed, okay, is John Wall available? Is Bradley Beal available? What's happening here? What do you get for them? Stugotz goes straight to, if I'm the Nets, I do that.
The way the report comes out, I would do that, absolutely. The way the report came out, it seems like they want to trade their entire roster in one shot. I mean, that's it.
I know that's the way you took it. That's not how the report came out in any way.
They're going to do it in pieces? Is that?
Yes,
okay.
In the way they always do it.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk about this. I cannot go another minute without examining this in our lives, okay? Not one more minute can go by. Because we have studied the Saints. They are amazing. Everyone agrees. However, on one golden Sunday, the hell happened. This juggernaut Tampa Bay team rolls into New Orleans and just dismantles the Saints. And now it needs examination. The hell is going on with these Bucs? Because every time they get in trouble, they just put in the backup, and now it's on. Whether it's Jameis Winston could go sit, and Fitzmagic is coming in, but if Fitzmagic goes and sits, Jameis Winston becomes Fitzmagic. What the hell's going on in Tampa?
The backup is always better. I mean, it is. Maybe that's their role. Maybe Jameis Winston's just better as a backup. A guy who comes in as your starting quarterback doesn't have.
This should be the game plan to change quarterbacks at halftime, to change quarterbacks at some point in the game, because here comes Jameis Winston yesterday looking like Fitzmagic.
It seems to be a gentleman's agreement between Jameis and Fitzmagic. Like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to stink it up, so that every game we lose, and then they'll fire our coach, and then you come in the second half. I'll have us down by 20, so all we're going to do is pass, so you'll get your numbers. You'll look great. Everybody's going to think that you're the best, and the next game you do it for me.
I think Billy's on to something.
Now we need to figure out a step further. Jameis. No, how do we win the game is not the important thing.
That's not on the table, Mike. How dare you think in those terms?
No.
That's not on the table.
If you win, that saves Dirk, and they seem to want to get rid of Dirk. It would appear. I'm just speculating here.
No, it can't be winning. It's got to be losing, but everyone looks good.
Exactly. And next phase of this, how do we make sure Jameis gets hurt? Not too hurt enough to guarantee his money, but not career-threatening. So we're looking at the schedule to see who it is.
Well, that's
Where
the
do we
other
do
thing.
this?
Tampa Bay should not be paying. They should not be playing Jameis Winston for just that reason. If he gets hurt, his contract gets guaranteed. For that reason alone, Tampa, it is a fireable offense yesterday for Dirk Cutter to change over.
But that's part of the master plan. I mean, Dan, we agree with you, but Fitzmagic is giving him no other option.
Hence the conundrum. I understand. We all knew we would get here with Fitzmagic. We knew it 2 and 3 games in, as some people were hyperventilating because somehow, and again, archaeologists are not going to be able to explain this many, many years from now, how the hell Tampa went into New Orleans and won when no one, there is not anyone in the sport that's going to be able to do that for the next 5 years.
Why did Tampa give Winston that contract stipulation? I've never heard of that before.
It's bizarre. His 5th year becomes fully guaranteed if he gets injured at any point this season.
Because they're Tampa. They know that he's going to get hurt because they're Tampa. They're going to do bad stuff all around him, and they're going to get him hurt. And if not, he'll find a way to do it himself. He'll find a way in an Uber or something to get in trouble himself.
What has to happen for poor Ryan Griffin to get a shot at QB? Like, honestly.
He must be bad.
We have to examine what's happening in Tampa because, again, you have no proof that Drew Brees right now, if he wanted to go 90 yards on anybody, that there's anything in the world that can stop him except Tampa.
Yep. It's magic.
They were weren't they up like 31-10 at the half or something?
I believe they were. I'll check it out right now.
It doesn't matter. The idea, though, that it is funny. Fitzpatrick was throwing interceptions because he's Fitzpatrick. Bring in Jameis Winston, and he's slinging the ball all over the place.
31-24 at half.
He outslinged Drew Brees.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm telling you, I would not recognize Dirk Cutter if he came here and kissed me right on the mouth.
I can't believe it.
That Philip brought his little brother on our mission into orbit.
How long until we get there? How long until we get there? How long until we get there?
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico.
What's this button do? What's this button do? What's this button do? What's this button do?
Don't touch that.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.